Hello, influencers. How are we doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching me. Welcome to another interesting edition of No Host Bad with IT. My name is Itunu. So this is a channel where we say the way it is a no host bird. I actually call my subscribers influencers. So if you want to join the family of influencers, do good to click that red button, subscribe to this channel, like, share, give thumbs up, and then let me know your thoughts in the comment section. So today I'm going to be talking about the oil subsidy regime in Nigeria. Actually, it's a video I want to show you. You remember Professor Ngozi Okonjo Iweala, who was the finance minister during the Obasanjo regime. The level of corruption in Nigeria, it's is what we are dealing with. It's not as if other countries don't subsidize for fuel. US, for instance, US government subsidize for fuel, yes. But the kind of corruption we have in Nigeria. So one is wondering, when is this going to stop? That's just a question. I dropped a video, was it yesterday, when I addressed the timing of the removal of subsidy, and I asked questions that, okay, the Buhari deliberately want to set Tinubu up for failure. Let me allow you to watch this video uh, that where Professor Okonjo Iweala talked about her experience when she was finance minister in Nigeria. Watch this.
On the continent to support good public policy. Please put your minds to this problem. It's alive today. My second example has to do with a very specific one in my country, the cleanup of the fuel subsidy regime in 2012 during my second stint as finance minister. Nigeria has a fiscally challenging fuel subsidy regime. The country exports crude oil and imports most of its refined needs because its refineries are in very bad shape, and provides a subsidy for the sales of refined oil at the pump. At the end of 2011, a total of 1.73 trillion naira, US $11 billion equivalent, was submitted as claims for subsidies by 143 marketers who were importing the product. These numbers seemed horrendously large compared to what I had last seen when I was in government in 2006, which was closer to $2 billion in subsidy. So we decided to audit these claims. We audited about $8.4 billion worth of claims, and we found $2.5 billion worth of fraud in these claims, i.e., many of these marketers were trying to claim $2.5 billion fraudulently. With the full backing of the president and the economic team, we decided that we were not going to entertain these claims or to pay. The pressure from the affected marketers was tremendous, as we tried not only to say we would not pay, but also we would clean up the whole mechanism for the subsidy claims and put in place something more transparent, something clearer. This did not go down well with them. When we stuck to our position of non-payment and implementation of the new verification regime, these strong and well-connected vested interests were angered and seemed to blame me personally for this. There were personal consequences. My 83-year-old mother, a retired professor of sociology, was kidnapped by 4 young men and held for 5 days. Keeping her wits about her as she was totally terrified, she asked them why she had been kidnapped. And they told her, quote, because your daughter, the finance minister, refused to pay oil marketers their dues. The kidnappers negotiating with my brother demanded my resignation publicly. I should go on television publicly and announce my resignation and depart from the country as a condition for my mother's release. Needless to say, these were some of the worst days of my life. Imagine, when you are in position, you want your parents, all of whom are here with you today, and your relatives, to be proud of you. You want to be a source of good for your family. You can imagine how I felt sitting there and thinking, just because of trying to do something right, to implement a good bit of policy that was good for the country, this could lead to the taking of my mother's life. These were some of the worst days of my life. With my father's support, the firm resolve of the president, we all decided I should not give in to the blackmailers, and I refused to resign. Following a manhunt, I'm sorry, I still feel emotional when I talk about it. And this story is not really publicly known, so this is probably the first time I'm giving the full details. Following a manhunt for my mother by police and security agencies, she was able to make a dramatic escape after 5 days in captivity, where she had only been given water and half of a sausage roll. So here was a well-justified cleanup and reform of a policy, but implemented in a dangerous reform environment where the losers in the reform, well-entrenched vested interests, decided to fight back to derail implementation. The decision not to resign was a very difficult and risky one. As it turned out, it worked. But there are days I ask myself, on my down days, what if it hadn't? What if they had gone ahead and murdered my mother, as she overheard them planning to do, with one of their handlers on the phone? Could I have justified trading off firmness on policy and standing up to blackmailers, implementing a good piece of public policy for my mother's life? What decision would you have made? Faculty, what decision would you have made?
Okay, you had that story. It's very pathetic. But my you've had that experience. That was unfortunate. The only area that I didn't find very convincing in that story was the fact that the woman escaped. Okay, when that incident happened back then, we heard from the grapevine that a ransom of 10 between 10 to 11 million was paid when journalists get information from unofficial quarters. We say we got the information from the grapevine. Okay, so the government is not ready to say, okay, this is what they paid, but then because we'll be like, okay, how was an 83-year-old woman was able to escape from people that abducted her? So it's so sad when this kind of thing happen. And I'm wondering, now that subsidy has been removed, find there are a lot of stress in Nigeria concerning that. What next? What next? Who? Okay, okay. Now that the subsidies regime is no longer there, it would be good to say that, okay, there won't be any threat to anybody's life, being you minister or whatever position you are holding. But I will have loved the government to address the corruption in the system. Nigeria is a very complex country to govern. Nigeria is very complex, honestly, because over time, corruption has really eaten deep into the fabric of the society. So It's so sad. So when you are trying to do something right, people see you as that you are not normal. I have seen people who went from the US to go and do local government chairman in their local government, and they came back and they were like, that country, hey, nobody can clean that country. So let me not just know your thoughts in the comment section. Like this video, share, and yeah, I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself and take care of one another.